Ladies and gentlemen, since it is that time where we are going back to school, it's only appropriate that we have a whodunit thriller complete with a masked killer, all surrounding a school assignment gone terribly wrong. Cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is it. Greetings, salutations, and other sundry affairs. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And tonight's lesson plan is a film called 213 Bones, referring, of course, to the number of bones in the human body. Hey, before we get into talking about tonight's lesson plan, appropriately, uh, going back to school, and there is a going back to school sale currently going on at the official Rex Real store. And for those who are going back to post secondary education, college, if you will, you're going to need some things for that dorm, right? Things you wouldn't normally put a high up, but you need them nonetheless, like a good wall clock. Why not a Rex Real wall clock? Coffee mugs, and other various, mouse pads, that type of stuff that you're going to need eventually down there. But of course, you're thinking of clothes first. Remember, you can get those items saying, "Why didn't I remember this?" at the official Rex Real store now, with most items 25% off. Okay, let's get to 213 bones, shall we? Professor Kelly has given a rather unique assignment. He is played by Colin Eaglesfield, and he has given his class in forensics a task, an assignment, if you will. A whole bunch of bones are scattered around campus. They must find them, put them together, and try to determine what this person died from, natural causes, murder, whatever, and figure it all out using what they've learned in the class. Well, that sounds like a pretty interesting assignment until people actually really start dying. Now, the first guy they look at, and let me get his name right, is Bob. He is played by Dean Cameron. He's kind of a old, creepy looking guy who's the caretaker around the university campus, and he always seems to have either a chainsaw or some kind of big rake or something in his hands that would naturally make him suspect number one when the killings start going down. This all supposedly takes place in Washington State in 1993, and some of the setups and props will take you back to that era. Mason Kennerly plays Clyde. He is the weed dealer, the drug dealer on campus, and obviously another one of the suspects, as he's not in his right mind most of the time. Our main protagonist is Lisa. Lisa is played by Luna Fujimoto. She is a screen cutie, folks. She's one of those actresses that the camera kind of like grabs hold of and just envelopes in lots of celluloid niceties. Very charming to look at, and she pulls off her role as the smart one in the bunch. No stereotypes there, that the Oriental is the smart one, heading up the group. There are also some people involved in this. Brent is played by Hunter Nance, and there is a waitress involved who kind of is in and out. She's part of the group, but she spends more time at her job as a waitress. She's Patty, and she's played by Allegra Sweeney. At one point, in this movie, all of those characters are set up as the prime suspect. You know how these whodunits work. Everybody is given at least a scene or two that makes them highly suspect as to who the killer can be. And that certainly happens in this.
I've always wanted to be tied up.
These are the things that make you scream. These are the things that make you bleed.
Good afternoon, class. Today is your group assignment.
Guys, how did we miss this?
You see right here on this idyllic campus, in the bushes,
I know dog skulls.
in the trees,
That ain't no dog.
around every corner, there's danger.
A student stumbled across the dead body in the library.
And you never know
I'm not going inside that creepy house.
when it might strike. You never know who its next victim will be.
How well do you know your students?
Thank you.
Well, be careful. There's a lot of weirdos out there.
So if we go a little bit behind the camera here for 213 Bones, our editor for this movie is Travis Berry. He's done a good job in keeping this at the respected rate of about 90 minutes. Our director of photography is Andrew Russo, does yeoman duty. And our writer and director is Jeff Prim. Jeff, we're going to take a little bit of an umbrage with you here because basically what we have is a very silly slasher film. Our killer is a slasher who uses primarily a knife. That's pretty much a trope now. But you can tell from the minute the killer comes on screen, they don't know how to handle a knife. Yeah, and that's problematic because anybody swinging a knife trying to kill somebody in this fashion is bound to meet some kind of resistance, especially with the characters in this story, how they are set up. It's just a bit hokey. All the standard tropes that go with your typical slasher film are incorporated into this script. So Jeff has not done anything unique. He's not done anything novel or twisted here. It pretty much follows a steady course, and unfortunately, he incorporates foreshadowing in the beginning of the script, and it's a dead giveaway for what's coming in the final reels. I will say that most of the killings in this, first off, it's obvious the killer doesn't does not. The actor playing the killer does not feel very comfortable holding a knife, and that's quite obvious. And some of these killings are wow, they're kind of lame. And as a result, they really don't show a lot, which is probably good because if they tried that, it would look even weaker. However, they do have to stick in the obligatory eye scene. That seems to be, you must have it in any type of slasher movie. An eyeball must come out. And this is the one part where Andrew Russo, as director of photography, kind of messes up things a little bit. It's obvious they've used an awful lot of special effects for the eye scene, but it's cut very very choppy. And Andrew uses close up for the eyeball scene that is not effective, especially because it goes directly in the face of all the other killings, which are shown from medium or long distance. So he set up kind of a template, if you will, for how the murders are presented, and this one glaringly sticks out different, and it is different because it's the only one that attempts gore, and it doesn't fit. It's the nice shoe, but the wrong shoe size, if you will, on that one. The name of the movie is 213 Bones. It's, if you're not thinking about it too much, it's a nice little guess who done it. You'll make a few guesses during the storytelling, and then when those folks are killed, back to the drawing board. It's kind of like playing a celluloid clue game. You want to find out if it was Mr. Mustard in the library with the candlestick. And when you find out at the end, you'll remember back to some of the scenes in the beginning and say, he told us who it was, and I just didn't pick it up. That type of thing. If you like that, you'll get it. If you're not a real big fan of that type of thing, you might want to let this one slide. We're going to give it a C grade, an average grade. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.